Hi there, welcome to the first session of the Media Ministry Marketing Guidelines. This will be probably a 12 to 16 week course, split into four categories. The first would be an introduction to marketing and marketing fundamentals. The second component will be marketing implementation and the tools for marketing implementation. The third component is brand development and brand management, and the fourth component will be reputation management. So, very simply put, the four different components are split into two sections. The one is our own brand and how we position our brand, how we develop our own brand ideals and values, and how that applies to how we position our ministry and go forward in marketing our ministry and the themes and ideals that we stand for. The second set of components is our reputation, and this is very much how our audience or our target market view us. It's very important as a fundamental that our brand positioning, or how we position our ministry, aligns with how our ministry is perceived, because that is where we build credibility and authenticity. So I do hope you enjoy the process. I will try and split this up into bite-sized chunks. There will be obviously an email address that you can mail us to have a discussion around queries and questions you might have. But do enjoy it. A little bit about me and my background is I come from a very strong marketing background. I've been in the marketing realm for about 25 years. Most of that at a high level, sort of marketing strategy level. And I also have obviously a very strong Christian background. I started my walk at quite an early age, and I had an elective adult baptism when I was 16. And what I've tried to do is very much bring in my walk, my own Christian walk and my encounter with the church, and try to interlace that with some marketing fundamentals. So a lot of this, I must admit, is subjective, but it informs, I suppose, what your average congregant would feel, and how to speak to those people. So today we're going to very briefly speak about some marketing fundamentals, and looking forward to it. So as a departure point, marketing really does touch everything we do. If you think about from the way you dress, the way you develop your signage, the way you package your product, to the way the product is consumed, marketing really touches just about everything we do, certainly in a commercial sense, and to a very, very large degree, the same applies to the ministry. We are tasked to go and spread the gospel, but we need to make sure that when we're doing that, we are doing it in a way that is understandable and digestible to the people we're speaking to, and also done in a manner that ensures that the people we speak to are receptive to the message. And a lot has changed in marketing over the last 5-10 years, specifically with the advent and huge access to social media, and the way our target market has become far better informed and far better educated. So in the old days, you'd sort of have the traditional 4 Ps of marketing: product, price, place, promotion. That has quickly evolved to the 7 Ps of marketing management. So over and above your traditional product, price, place, and promotion, you've got packaging, positioning, and people. And I'm now going to go through those 7 brief fundamentals to be outlined a little bit further. So diving right in, starting with product. Product is fundamentally your current product or service. In this particular application would be either your physical church, the way your worship team is constructed, the way your leadership team is constructed, and obviously during these times of COVID-19, it would be how you're reaching your congregation via various online platforms. Your question is it appropriate and suitable for the market of today? Do you need to evolve or refine or perhaps change the way you deliver your offering? Price in our context doesn't necessarily apply. However, it is can be tied back to the tithes and offerings, and how do you position it? How do you generate revenue for your ministry? When you speak about tithes and offerings, do you guilt your customers, your congregation into it, or do you show how it is a gift of the Spirit and how those contributions will be used for the good of God? With regard to, then we move on to promotions, you need to think about how you're promoting all the time. Small changes in the way you are promoting or driving awareness of your ministry and your church, your missionaries, your works are critical. And you don't have to rewrite the rule books, you don't have to do anything fundamental, but think about how you are driving awareness and what you want to achieve when you're doing so. In a secular sense, whatever method of marketing or sales you're using today will sooner or later become less and less effective. So promotion and the way you promote needs to evolve through time. The fourth P is place. Businesses need to make the right choice about the best location for their customer or for the customer to encounter their product in order to make that decision. So if you look where your ministry is placed, is it ideal for your particular calling? Are you reaching the audience that you're called to reach? Do you shift? Have you shifted to an online environment? If so, is it an accessible online environment? Are you using YouTube? Are you using Facebook? So where does your congregation encounter you, and is it suitable to the message you need to deliver? The next very important component is packaging, and packaging refers to the way your product or service appears from the outside, and it's not just in a product sense. It's not just the packaging it comes in. It's how does your consumer, how does your congregation encounter what you want to offer? It refers to your reception area, your waiting rooms. In your terms, you'll think of your mother's rooms, where they if they have a baby, do they feel marginalized when they take the baby away into the meeting room, into the mother's room? Think about your printed literature. Think about, does it fairly represent your messaging? Does it fairly represent your positioning? Speaking of positioning, you need to develop the habit of thinking continually about how you are positioned in the hearts and minds of your consumers, your customers, your congregation. What is your current positioning in terms of the specific words people use when they describe their experience in your ministry or of your ministry? What changes do you need to make to interact with those congregations, those customers, those target markets today, in order to be seen as relevant for now and relevant for later? And then people. The people refers to the people within and related to your business, your congregation, your ministry. Those are your internal customers. So the people on your worship teams, the people on your administration teams. How do you interact with them? Who are they? It addresses your external customers, your congregation. It also addresses, in a very practical sense, the people who supply you. Your landlords, if you rent your space, the guys who provide your tea and coffee. So when you speak about people, you have to think of all your stakeholders. Develop the habit of thinking in terms of exactly who is carrying out each task and responsibility of your business, of your ministry. Is the way they're doing it aligning with regard to your brand promise? What is the perception from the customer's point of view of how they're executing that task? Have a very clear idea of who will be engaging with your product or service, with your message, with your ministry, as well as who's buying. So there's a very different, in marketing terms, you've got a customer and you've got a consumer, and these two are often the same people, but sometimes it's very different. So if you can imagine you walk in to buy a toy for your child, you are in fact that shop's customer. You're buying the toy, but your child is the consumer because they're engaging with that end product. So you need to think in those sort of contexts. And that's a very brief outline. So we've got people, we've got product, place, price, promotion, packaging, positioning, and people. And now we'll start going a little bit more in depth to those into those elements.